Right, welcome back everybody. Sam, Wine Freedom. We are into October and here we have our selection for our October house wine pack. 2 whites, 2 reds. We're getting a little bit more autumnal this month. So we have some slightly squidgier, darker, earthier red wines for you for autumn. And we have a Italian red and we have a South African red here as well. We've got a French white and an Italian white here. So going straight in, we have white wine from Gascony, so in southwest France, made from 5 different grape varieties. The first one is Uni Blanc, the second one is Colombard, third one Sauvignon Blanc with a little bit of Muscadel and a little bit of Chardonnay. It's made by a lovely guy, a flying winemaker as they're called, a chap called Nicolas Idiat, and he has his estate called Maison Idiat, and he makes wines all over the world. He makes a little bit in New Zealand, actually does wine in a can from New Zealand, which is quite interesting, but he focuses on small production artisanal wines from various different regions around France. This particular one is the white that he makes from southwest France, and it is a fresh, light, slightly aromatic wine. The aromatic bit kind of comes from the Sauvignon Blanc and the Muscadel. Lots of fresh kind of apples, lots of pears, slightly kind of floral kind of lick to it as well, and it's our first wine by this winemaker, and I've been really impressed by it. So I think one maybe that sort of sits oddly kind of halfway between like sort of Chardonnay and Sauvignon Blanc, so it will kind of work quite nicely. It's got a little bit of weight and a little bit of roundness and smoothness, but it's got that slightly kind of floral, aromatic quality to it on the nose. So for those who like Sauvignon Blanc and Chardonnay. Next up, we are going to Frantana Bianco, which is the name of the wine, from Cantina Frantana. And this is produced in southwest Pescara in Italy. Excuse my Italian accent. It's made from Trebbiano. This is the really kind of interesting thing about this wine. It's probably one of the best versions of Trebbiano, 100% Trebbiano that I've tried for quite some time. Trebbiano quite often gets mistaken for Chardonnay over in Italy. This particular one is just lovely, floral, lots of pears, and it's got a slightly kind of like green apple, yellow plum kind of character to it. It's fairly kind of serious wine actually for this month, and it's got a tiny, it feels like it's maybe sat in oak for a tiny little bit, but it hasn't. It's got a little bit of richness as well, like in your mouth. It's absolutely delicious stuff. First red, quite excited about this one. It's our first wine from this estate. They're called Cara Lustro, and they're 3 winemakers, Franco, Marco, and Lydia, and they are based in the Aegean Hills, just inland from Venice, in Veneto. And this particular wine is made from 3 different grape varieties, 2 which are very well recognised, I guess, so Merlot and Cabernet Sauvignon, and it's got a good percentage of a very local indigenous grape variety, which is quite sort of thin-skinned, light grape, called Mezzamino, which is probably the more interesting part to this wine. It's proper natural, all organic. The whole estate is a very nice sort of biodiverse ecosystem. There's only about 25% of the estate that's dedicated to growing grapes. The rest is cattle, sheep, and lots of other different sorts of agriculture and horticulture. So a nice kind of balanced, healthy ecosystem. Proper natural, so no SO2, no sulfur dioxide. Sorry about the traffic out there. It's great. It's just full of like really ripe, sort of slightly spicy, plummy fruit. I just think it's absolutely delicious. When you pop it in your mouth, it's got a degree of complexity to it as well, which is really quite, I don't know, interesting, intriguing. It makes you want to go back for another little sip. Last, not least, we're going back to a bit of an old favourite of ours, and this is the Secateurs Red, which is made by our friend Adi Badenhorst in Swartland in South Africa. We did this wine actually, I think going back towards the end of last year, or maybe the start of this year, maybe sort of December or January. It's backed by popular demand. We've got it on tap in-house here. It goes down an absolute storm, and it's made from a blend of Syrah, Cinsault, and a little bit of Grenache as well. So this is what you might call like a sort of classic Rhone blend that you might find in the south of France, but Rhone grape varieties grow really well in South Africa. It's just got a very similar climate. Adi's a bit of a bit of a hero of ours. He makes some incredible natural wine. But what he does is he makes these amazing natural wines that aren't too expensive. And his Secateurs range is just spot on, absolutely on the money. And we do these wines from bottle. We've got some bottles on the shelves over there, but it just tastes even better, fresher, brighter, purer when it's from the keg. So keep your feedback coming in. We're going to have a more, I guess, sort of dynamic range for November coming up. We might have an orange in there as well. So we're probably going to end up having like 3 reds and maybe like 1 orange. So we're going to gain slightly more sort of autumnal going into winter. I hope you enjoy. Keep your feedback coming through on Instagram. Josh, what have you got going on over the next few weeks or so? So we've got a nice big wine tasting at the end of November, on the 28th of November. Circa 100 wines. We're going to have around about 200 people here. About £25 a ticket, so you get to try loads of wines for 25 quid. What else have we got going on?
Got October 20th wine tasting.
October 20th, yeah, which is an introduction to natural wine with me around this table, which is in about 3-4 weeks' time. I think we've got a few tickets left for that. And we have a new menu launching next week as well. So our menu in Digbeth is going to be getting bigger, more interesting, and more tasty. So until next time, in a few weeks' time, see you then and enjoy these.